Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of the WatchRolling podcast. The WatchRolling podcast is a veteran-owned podcast that focuses on horology from a veteran's point of view, as well as sharing his valuable veteran resources with the watch enthusiast community. My name is Jason. I'm your host. If you're new to the pod, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'd like to welcome you to the holiday episode of the WatchRolling podcast. Now, I know there's all different kinds of people that celebrate all different kind of holidays, so I'm just going to have a holiday episode and try to spread some good cheer this season. I know it's been a rough year for some people. It's been a busy year for some people, including myself. And I just wanted to put out some stuff here. So I want to focus on three things about the watch sphere community in general that are just kind of make me happy and that I'm thankful for. I've always been kind of a I don't know. I've always felt like I've been more thankful during Christmas, slash holiday period than I am at Thanksgiving. I don't know. Thanksgiving's never really like jived with me. It's just I just eat turkey and get tired. But for this time of the year, I feel like it lasts longer and people genuinely are kinder to each other during this time of year. But I don't know. And I always think that the holiday period, especially when you're in the military, lasts a little bit longer than like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's like a weekend, you do some shopping, but usually you have what we call in the Navy stand downs, and there's extra long periods of time, and then sometimes you can get lucky and get both of them off. My first ship, I was able to do that quite a bit, but I think it was because it was a bigger ship and they didn't need me as much because I was super junior. But yeah, this time of the year has always been the cool time of the year for me, and I've always enjoyed it. It's always nice when you live somewhere cold. I was stationed up north for a while, and those Christmas or holiday periods were awesome. So it's anything, but I just want to share, get to the point and share these three things that really matter to me. And I'm thrilled to have you join me, like I said, for this special holiday episode. And I'm going to dive deep into what the watch community means to me during this festive season because is pretty festive. So get a cup of hot cocoa, line up. We're going to focus on three aspects. It's going to be the community itself, the vast knowledge within the community, and the endless opportunities to learn about horology. And I think that those are slightly exclusive. I know they do attach to each other, but I think if you look at them in a vacuum, you'll understand what I mean. So, get a timepiece, settle in. Let's explore the world of watches together and what I enjoy about it. But first, let's do a wrist check. I got my Vertex M100A. Sorry, I got a new sweatshirt. It's making it a little bit difficult. On the OEM bracelet, great job by Vertex. Oh, the M100A, this thing's sweet. It's funny, the round up the year, this is something I'm learning about myself. The less amount of complications, the better. So for me, I know it's going to kill Sam over at Casual Watch Talk, but I don't want to date. I know Sam loves a date. I don't want to date. But anyways, speaking of the watch me, let's get into it. So, as we approach this holiday season, I found myself the whole, last week was a rough week. If you listened to the episode there, I just did I reposted. It's been a year since my friend John passed away. And so I did I'm going to do that every year on the week that, we lost him. And that's one community I'm coming from into the watch community. And I had a lot of time to reflect this week on it, and I found myself just totally in awe of the incredible sense of community that surrounds the world of watches. And for a guy who, it's been a little bit now, say like 2019, late 18, 2019, but really I'd say the last 2 years of really like getting into it, right? Getting to know people, other content creators in the community, people that work in the industry, people that are just in and around the watch space. Um, it's a really freaking cool community, man. There's so many good people that have donated time, people that have given me advice, people that have just stopped and listened, answered questions. I mean, you name it. It's just it's pretty cool. And then whether you're a seasoned collector or a budding enthusiast or just someone who appreciates, the craftsmanship of these timepieces, I feel like there's a place for you in the community. I can honestly say that it's been like 99.5, it's a random number. 99.5% of my interactions have been relatively positive and healthy. There's been discussions, there's been disagreements and stuff like that, but nothing what I would ever call like, you know, um, angry or mean spirited or any of that stuff. They've all been pretty positive and learning experiences to take away from that. So I think, I think if you're curious about getting into watches or you're worried about talking to anybody, I would say just screw it. Take a step. Ask someone. Ask me a question. Ask anyone a question. Talk to people. Um, it's a place where I really do think the majority of the people are there because they're really interested, primarily in horology and timepieces. And I've noticed during the holidays, it's even the sense of connection's even more pronounced because you have content creators like on Instagram doing 12 days of like giveaways. Like um, Dansom's doing some, and there's people that Uncle Straps is doing like the 12 days of discounts. Like, and some of these, yes, are commercially driven, but for the most part, it's just a lot of giving. I've seen people like hooking people up with straps. I've seen people blah blah blah. You name it, it's there. It's kind of just a warm sense of connection that I feel gets even a little more pronounced towards the holidays. So, speaking of watch community, this podcast that is brought to you by the Anti-Watch Watch Club. The Anti-Watch Watch Club is a 501c3 charitable organization that utilizes a drop style culture and makes a whole bunch of stuff like Nalgene bottles, rash guards, t-shirts, flags, glow in the dark loom coins, challenge coins. They have collaborations. They've had a collaboration with Notice. They've had a collaboration coming up. They've already uh, peeped it out a little bit, but there's something coming with a very special brand. I might have them on my wrist, not the special piece, but on my wrist. And they don't draw a salary. None of the guys in charge draw a salary at all. And they use this drop house culture to help out, first responders, law enforcement, military, and veterans through a whole variety of needs, whether it's financial, mental, social. They just help training gaps, you name it. So I invite you to check out the Anti-Watch Club, Anti-Watch Watch Club at antiwatchclub.org. I have all kinds of stuff for them, and I have flags, I have hats, I have t-shirts, you name it. A couple of hoodies. The hoodies are great. It's the weather's getting a little cool. Pick yourself up a hoodie, and all the proceeds go to the charities that they support. Right. No one draws a salary again. So check them out, awwc antiwatchclub.org. And speaking of thanking people in the communities, I want to just take a minute to thank Cody from the AWWC. I mean, I've talked to some of the other guys, here and there, but Cody, I've had a lot of interactions with Cody, and I consider him, what I would call an online friend because we haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, but we will. It'll be great. We'll break some bread. But um, you know, my buddy Alex, who's deployed from government cheese time, me and Alex came up with that idea, shot it by Cody, and now that Alex is deployed, it's on hold for a little bit. We'll get back to it, but Cody's just an example of what good can come from this community, and he does a lot of great stuff, and the AWWC does a lot of great stuff. So again, I invite you to check him out at antiwatchclub.org. And I just want to say thanks, Cody, for everything. We appreciate it, and looking forward to getting together soon. So, you know, I've had the privilege of like I said, engaging with fellow watch enthusiasts, and it's been through a variety of areas like forums, social media groups, and even local meetups. I actually went to my first local meetup up in the DC area a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome. There's a unique joy for me in discussing the intricacies of a watch's design because I know, I think I'm getting pretty knowledgeable, but it's from the stuff I read and the stuff I handle and how I interact. But just talking to fellow watch enthusiasts, and it's crazy because it comes down to what they're enthusiastic about, right? Like they might be like super accuracy people. Like I've met people that are like so into accuracy. I wonder if I should be into accuracy. And then sometimes when they say that they're into accuracy, I'm like, should I be into accuracy? Like, is it wrong that I'm not? And it's not, but it's just kind of funny because it's like, I get where they're coming from, or whether it's sharing the stories behind some of your favorite timepieces. Cause I've ran across some people too, where they have the timepieces that I would love to have. And I don't mean the literal timepiece. I mean like the story behind the timepiece, or, the happy memories behind the timepiece. And I think that's pretty cool. And then sometimes we just get together and collectively marvel at the beauty of horology, right? Like some of the design elements, and it's funny too what people pick up on because I got, you know, watch fam that are dial people. I'm a neural crown person, which is kind of funny. Um, but it's just awesome to get around talking. I'm especially grateful for the camaraderie that the watch community brings into my life. And like I said, I might do like a New Year's episode where I thank everybody, but literally it's going to be an hour. Like I can tell you right now, if I thank everyone that's reached out to help me, it's going to be an hour. And I honestly don't know if anyone wants to hear that, but if you do, leave a comment down in the comment section below. And if I get enough comments, I'll do it. I'll do a whole hour of me just thanking everyone and their mom. for doing this. So, but I can say thank you now. And you know, like if you're watching this and we've interacted, you know, I hope you know that I appreciate what you've brought to my experience in the watch enthusiast space. And one of my favorite watch enthusiasts is Rob from Mushi Watch Straps. Rob is a veteran, an Air Force veteran, and I've interviewed Rob before. Rob is the owner of Mushi Watch Straps. Mushi Watch Straps is a veteran-owned company that makes well-built and fairly priced nylon straps, canvas watch rolls, the whole nine, all kinds of tools you need. And I can't speak enough about the gray fluted nylon straps that they sell. I just call it the Mushi strap, and it's a 20 millimeter perfection. Right, it's the perfect frame for any timepiece you have, especially if you like a mil spec watch. Shout out Joe over at Say Cody who had mil spec watch week last week. Um, that gray nylon strap is the perfect frame. It's beautiful. So check them out. Check out the canvas watch rolls. They have four pockets with suede lining. Nice canvas, tan or blue, and they got a little leather strap that wraps around, locks them up. You can use them for tools. You can use them for watches, whatever. And don't forget to use the code VET10. That's Victor Echo Tango 10 for 10% off your entire order. And tell them Jason sent you. Again, thanks Rob for everything. And like always, my sponsors don't pay me anything. I just shout them out because they're doing good stuff in the community. So the second thing I'm really excited about, and I have been about through the years, just the knowledge within the community. I don't. I think that we understand. I mean, I think that we do, right? I think that it's understandable that there's a whole lot of knowledge in the community, but there is a wealth of knowledge, and it's not just about people owning beautiful watches. It's not about understanding the artistry. I mean, it's not just about owning a beautiful watch. It's about understanding the artistry, history, and craftsmanship that goes into creating these intricate devices, right? And the watch community has taught me so much and been so generous with their insights and experiences. I mean, I've learned the mechanics of movements to the stories behind certain iconic watch brands, right? Like just think of Mike Pearson and Zodiac. Like Mike has gotten the history of that brand out in the last, I would say more so in the last year in 2023 than any other year. It's been like if someone was assaulting you with, cute kittens and it was just like, oh, these kittens are so awesome because it was just Zodiac all year, but you were learning about the brand, you were learning about what they wanted to do, you were learning about, what they're going to bring and their little niche inside the watch enthusiast space among brands. And it's pretty awesome. But then there's also people, watch photography and how to do this and how to do that and videography and then stuff about like the stories about the design elements of watches and what they were made for. Um, so this holiday season, I just encourage everyone to take a moment and explore just this rich tapestry of horological knowledge within the community, right? And it doesn't matter, like I said before, if you're a seasoned expert or a newcomer, you're going to learn something. I mean, whether it's simple little books like I got up there called The Magical Watches or just one of the wristwatch annuals from a certain year. I mean, they're more than props for videos. These books will teach you so much. I mean, I learned about Mula Lasciuta from a book, and that led me down a rabbit hole to purchase one. But it's a wonderful watch brand, and it's a watch brand I wouldn't have learned about, and I think it's pretty cool. So just make it a take some time out of your day and try to learn about some stuff and make it a learning journey because that's what it is. Like I personally feel like I'm never going to learn. Well, I know I'm never going to learn everything about this. I'm going to try to keep learning, and that's actually I'm not a big like New Year's resolution guy, but this year for the podcast specifically, I'm going to focus on some very key areas to improve the overall experience of the show. And part of that is going to be like a very the people that have been on the show that for interviews know like I'm pretty standardized and pretty officious when it comes to setting stuff up for success. So for me, it's going to be like a very regimented, you know, this day I'm going to do this day I'm going to do that, this day I'm going to do this, and it's going to lead to this. And it's going to be to improve my overall knowledge and improve the overall experience for you, the watch enthusiast, when you watch the show or listen, and overall make a better product. So I got some stuff in the hopper, but the number one part is going to be knowledge because that's the one thing that you can't really fake the funk on. I feel, and yeah, so that's where I'm going to go. So I just invite you to understand it's a learning journey, and it's very much part of the experience. So the third thing, and this kind of ties in the same, but I think it's slightly different, is the to understand that you have unending opportunity to learn about horology, right? And building on the idea of knowledge, one of the things I cherish most about the community that we're in is that you have an unending opportunity, right? Like if you were just to simply divvy up the watch space by style of watch, right? Like if you wanted to only learn about dress watches, well, good luck because you if you focused on that only, you'd probably live to be an old person and then never fully learn everything about dress watches. Um, Same thing for dive watches, field watches, some of the higher horology stuff. I mean, for Pete's sakes, if you were doing about G Shocks, you're going to do that about, Timex or I mean Casio's, like you name it. You could focus on one thing and never really learn it. Um, and I think that's the great thing about it because you'll eventually run across something that you're interested in, and when you're interested in it, it's going to take you down that rabbit hole, and it's going to keep you entertained, but it's going to reinforce some knowledge, and the opportunity is always there. I mean, you don't even got to talk to him. You can just get books, watch podcasts, watch videos on YouTube. You can do all that stuff. So I feel like for the watch enthusiast space, it's kind of a nice area. I'm pretty sure it's like cars for anyone else, or I know there's a keyboard thing. Like shout out Frank, uh, friendy, but because I've seen some keyboard stuff on his feed. But I feel like the watch space, and it's a field that seamlessly blends tradition with innovation, right? Like so, and there's that tug. There's that tug. There's people that talk about technology, tradition, innovation. How do you blend them to where you don't lose some of the soul, quote unquote, of timepieces? And I feel like the continuous evolution of watchmaking just keeps us all on our toes. And I think it makes it a better space because then it gives us more to talk about. So, for me personally, this holiday season, like I just told you a little bit earlier, I'm making a resolution to delve even deeper into the world of horology. I got books lined up. I'm going to read them. I'm going to improve my writing. I'm all this stuff. I mean, it's just, I want to become, I love this hobby. Like I can't explain it enough. Like, um, I love it. The people I've met have made me really, really, really reevaluate what I thought about the rest of the world. And that's coming from a military guy because I think sometimes you get really cynical because you live in this like little echo chamber of like nothing. It's like it's just an echo chamber, right? And then you get out there and you realize no. Like the civilian world's got plenty of cool people in it. They're just as generous with their time. They're just as blah 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 that we are. And once you do that, you have the opportunity to really expand your knowledge. So I want to do so much stuff this year, but I want to focus on some key areas. But whether it's exploring the latest advancements in watch technology, whether it's uncovering some new stories, it'd be kind of cool to uncover some new stories behind vintage timepieces. Those of you that know, I just picked up a new gold Seiko. It's a 6139, and I got it from DC Vintage Watches, and I got the cool the Longapo bracelet to go on it. And I like to learn more about that watch, right? And I like, shout out Todd, Seiko Todd. I know that's a rabbit hole too, but you know what I mean? Like it's the stories behind the timepieces, it's understanding the significance of different complications, whatever. There's always more to discover. And this community, the watch community, provides a platform and for what I believe is a perpetual learning journey. Like it's never going to stop. And I'm really excited to see where it takes me the coming year. So as we, it's a little bit different episode, but as we wrap up this special holiday episode, again, I want to express my gratitude for the incredible watch community that we're all part of. I mean, whether you're celebrating, this holiday season, whether you're celebrating with your family, friends, or your cherished timepieces, because maybe some people like watches more than people. I just want to wish you a joyous and horologically fulfilling holiday season. I appreciate you joining me for this episode. Um, and if you have, for all my anyone military affiliated, if you got any buddies, all right, do buddy checks this holiday season. This is the hardest time of the year for some people. Some people are alone. They're going to be alone for the whole month of December. They may not see their family. They might not have family. So do your buddy checks, reach out, simple text, check on people. If it's grabbing lunch, if it's just, getting your favorite frosty beverage, or if it's FaceTiming, just do something. Reach out, look out for each other, do your buddy checks. And again, I wish everyone a happy holiday season. Be on the lookout next week. I tentatively have a pretty interesting interview set up. I got to lock it in and make sure, but I think it's something you wouldn't want to miss. And until next time, happy holidays. And remember, at watchrolling.com, you make the watch. The watch doesn't make you.